Hi, 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 hi. Hello, 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 hi, hi, hi. So this is our astrology hour where you get to ask me your astrology questions and I will do my best to answer them. So Lovely Reek said, what my placements mean as a whole. So Lovely Reek, can you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that? I'm waiting for Lovely Reek to answer. In the meantime, IA said, will Cancer Sun be lucky this year? Yes, this is a very lucky year for Cancer and for Gemini. So wherever you have Gemini and Cancer placement, this is going to be a very lucky year for you. It's the reason is because this year, in case you haven't noticed, is a little bit crazy. Have you noticed how everything this year is so unpredictable? Everything feels so sudden. Everything feels like it's coming out of left field and you can't get comfortable. It's like you think it's one way and you get comfortable with it, and then something else happens that throws you off and then it's going a completely different way. It's been a lot of this energy. Yes, somebody said, especially this month, IA said that. Yes, especially this month, because this month we're having eclipse season. We had a lunar eclipse. I'm sorry, yeah, lunar eclipse. That's actually correct. We had a lunar eclipse in Virgo, and now we're having a solar eclipse in Aries coming up on the 29th. So in just 5 days. So this month is especially very, very chaotic. And that's why I haven't been creating a lot of content, because I've been resting. During eclipse season, it's very important to rest because eclipse is about renewal via self-destruction. In order to rebuild ourselves stronger, we have to be willing to part ways with parts of who we are that make us weaker and that make us more diminished, more impoverished. If we want to live a life of abundance, and we have to be committed to only vibrating at like abundance. And vibrating at abundance requires that you be willing to separate with energies that don't make you feel abundant. So this month is a wonderful month to take it easy, to rest, to calm yourself down. And the reason why Cancer is thriving during this month is because Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is the fastest moving planet. I use the term planet loosely because it's not a planet in astronomy, but it's a planet in astrology. The moon goes through a new zodiac sign every couple of days. Unlike the other planets, like as an example, Pluto, who is a generational planet, or Saturn, who's a generational planet, that it takes Pluto like 20 to 30 years, to go through an entire generation. But the moon, every couple of days is something new. Like today you're Aries, a couple of days from now is Taurus, a couple of days from now is Gemini. So Cancer is very equipped to deal with sudden mood changes in the room. This is why Cancer is very good at reading the energy of the room as well. They're very good at picking up on the frequencies in the room without somebody spelling it out for them. This is what makes them very good at being able to resolve conflict without making things worse. Cancer is naturally a nurturer, and they're very self-protective. So wherever you have Cancer this year is where you're going to be the most blessed. And it's upon you to like figure out, okay, what do I need to do with this part of my life to enhance it? But the chaos of this moment is energy Cancer eats up every day without even thinking twice about it, because Cancer can function extremely well in chaos, extremely well. They're very good at keeping their cool even when everybody's losing it, unless of course they're losing it. But when everybody's losing it, Cancer knows how to keep their head on the swivel like a worker bee. They keep focused on their goal, they know what they want, and they know how to ride the waves to be able to get to what they want. So if you can embrace the chaos as opposed to seeing it as bad and judging it like, oh my God, this is so crazy. It's this, it's that, it's that. Like in every situation, there's an opportunity, okay? And nobody can make good use of opportunity like Cancer. Cancer is also a very resourceful zodiac sign. So where people don't see the beauty, Cancer always knows how to find gold, even in the worst scenarios. I'll give you an example. Right now, the stock market, this is just a concrete, tangible example to illustrate my point. The stock market right now, because of everything that's going on, is like doing a lot of this. Like it's up, then it's down, and it's up, and it's down, and it's up, and it's down. And those of you that are involved in that part of life, you know that when it's down, it's a great opportunity to buy because what you would normally buy is now cheaper. So yes, you could sit here and complain about how crazy it is that it's up and down, and you don't know what you're going to get. But the flip side is everything that you want to buy is cheaper when it's down. So that's not necessarily a negative thing. Cancer is able to navigate polarity really well. They're able to navigate chaos really well. They're able to navigate unpredictable situations really well. This is a very lucky year for Gemini as well because both Gemini also exudes this energy of duality, you know, back and forth, the twins. Yeah, so Gemini can always get to the truth by being able to argue with themselves about both sides of the argument. Now, the zodiac signs that are across the board having the very best year are the fire signs. That would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For Leo, though, come this summer, they're going to have to dig deeper into their emotional intelligence to be able to continue to have an excellent year. Because the volatility of life is not going to stop. And Leo's a fixed sign, so they tend to be very rigid. Leo likes to hold on. It's like once they figure out something that works for them, that's what they want to do. They want to hold on to that thing. And they don't like a lot of shifty energy. Leo doesn't respond as well to this. But Aries, they will shoot their shot no matter what, go for what they want no matter what. And Sagittarius is a mutable zodiac sign, so just like Gemini, they're able to switch lanes as needed to get their goals met. And that's why these signs are having the very best year. Thank you, Dee. Dee said, dang, makes sense. I'm a Gemini. Oh, very good. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Now, there was another question earlier from Lovely Reek. And Lovely Reek, thank you for my roses. I really appreciate you. You didn't have to do that, so thank you for doing that for me. Thank you. Okay, so Lovely Reek, you started this off, but I asked you a question because I wanted a little bit more information. So you said you're Virgo Sun, Aquarius Moon, and Leo Rising, and Gemini Mars. You want me to tell you about your personality. Ooh, this is a lot, Lovely Reek, okay? This is a lot, okay. So let's start from the top. Virgo Sun, beautiful energy, super responsible, super helpful, super kind, you know, very devoted people. Aquarius Moon, this is where we start getting into trouble because Aquarius Moon come from really, really unsupportive homes. Aquarius Moon have mothers that reject them, reject their uniqueness. So there's something about you that is unique, that your mother rejected, that your mother didn't like, and that your parental system wanted you to feel ashamed about. Usually for Aquarius Moon, there's a huge, it's like, okay, let me put this in the context. In astrology, there are some zodiac signs that we consider to be karmic zodiac signs. Karmic zodiac signs are very tied to their ancestors. Those are the generational curse breakers. The karmics, they're the generational curse breakers. So usually when a karmic comes into the bloodline is because there's some mess that the family, the bloodline of the family has been carrying on over and over and over and over and over and over again that they're not learning from and they're not improving. So when the karmic comes into the picture, they come to eliminate a lot of that and to do away with a lot of the toxicity that was already here. Now, let me ask you, if your family has been doing one thing one way for 100, 200, 400, 500, 1,000 years, and then there's somebody new that comes in the picture and that says, you know what, guys, this is toxic, this is unhelpful, this is unproductive, we don't need to do life this way anymore, we need to change it and do it another way. How do you think that family is reacting? Do you think they're going to be jumping up for joy like, oh my God, you are so right, we need to stop being toxic as a family? Yes, you're right. Let's hear all of your beautiful ideas about how to bring us together as one, how to do relationship better, how to make the family stronger and more healthy. No, they're not doing that. Have you watched Encanto? I'm a karmic myself, so this story is also my life story. That's why I like the movie Encanto, because I think Encanto like beautifully illustrates, what it's like to be the generational curse breaker that raises their hand and says, like, I understand why you're doing this, but is this the best way to do this? Is this the only way to do this? Is there another way to do this? Usually when you're that person, the family system is not welcoming of the change you're bringing. The newness you're bringing that you think is going to make things better, they see it as a threat. They see it as you disrupting things. They see it as you creating chaos. And they see it as you basically trying to be difficult and trying to mess things up for everybody. So a lot of time Aquarius moon, when they get to be of age where they can afford their own bills and they can take care of themselves, they move away. They move away from their birth families and they never move back. I have yet to meet an Aquarius moon that does not follow this path. I have yet to meet one who didn't adult sooner than they needed to and moved away from their family as a result of adulting sooner than they needed to, and who spent like their lives like fighting against like their family, basically making them feel like what's unique about them, what's special about them is a problem. Even though there's nothing wrong with them, the family's so sick that the family thinks that there's something wrong with them. So instead of the family dealing with its own disease, its own toxicity, and the unhealthy ways that they do things, the family wants that child to feel like they're the problem. So then they make that child the scapegoat. And it's because Aquarius is not just going to take it. They want Aquarius to just be quiet and to just take it. And Aquarius is not going to take it or be quiet. And that's what they really can't stand. They really can't stand that Aquarius moon are the truth tellers in their families. They're usually the smart ones in their families. They're usually the most emotionally intelligent in their families. They're usually the ones that shake the table in their families. And their families don't like it. They don't like it one bit. And every chance they have to remind them that they don't like it, or they try to like diminish the Aquarian moon child, they take it. And one of the areas where Aquarius moon, this is a side note, one of the areas that they like to attack you is to try to make it seem like you're not as smart. Even though you're smarter than everybody in your family, by the way. Aquarius moon is always smarter than everybody in their family. That's really the area of contention. But the family would try to make it seem like they're less intelligent. They're foolish. Because they want you to be quiet. They want you to be quiet and they want you to go away. They don't want you to talk about all the horrible things that you've had to endure, that you survived. Really, that you survived to be the adult that you are. So that's a challenge of Aquarius moon. The other challenge of Virgo sun is that Virgo sun generally has to deal with topics related to health in their family. Usually Virgo, so Lovely Reek said spot on, and yes, I moved. Okay, thank you for that confirmation. Yeah, I've never met an Aquarius moon that doesn't follow this blueprint of having to physically disconnect because there's no support there. There's no love there. They may tell you they love you with their lips. I'm not saying that they're going to be like hateful, like hateful, aggressively hateful. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they will say all the things like, oh, this is my daughter. She's so sweet. She's doing this. She's doing that. Like they may even like be like, we love you. We love you. Why don't you receive our love? Like basically there's a lot of mind games. They love you, but they will critique you to death. They love you, but they will nitpick you to death. They love you, but they will try to make it seem like you're foolish, even though you're the smartest person in the room. They love you, but they will try to gaslight you and make it seem like the abuse and the trauma that you survive isn't real. It's all a figment of your imagination. You're too sensitive. You're blowing things out of proportion. None of it ever happened. They just love to pretend. There's a lot of pretending. A lot of sweeping problems under the rug and a lot of pretending. And unfortunately for them, Aquarius is represented by lightning. Aquarius is a sister sign of Leo. Leo is the sun and Aquarius is lightning. So when Aquarius is ready to shoot all the facts to them in a very clear and concise manner, they don't take it well because the psychological growth the emotional growth that they need to go through to be able to receive that child, they haven't gone through. And that's exactly why God gave that child to that family. So you're the generational curse breaker. You're going to be the most hated one, the most gossiped one, the one that they get together and gossip about. You're going to be the one that they talk about behind behind your back. They're going to say one thing to your face, say another thing behind your back. They're going to pretend like they do everything they can to make you feel included, to make you feel loved, but it's not real. It's all manipulation. It's all gaslighting. It's all, look over there, when it's really over there. It's a lot of like mind games, basically. And that is why Aquarius moon people, when they become adults, they're very perceptive. They can always tell when somebody's up to mess without anybody telling them. You know, Aquarius being the magician of the zodiac, they're very good at seeing through the darkness, because Leo is the daylight and Aquarius is the nighttime. So all the older souls, their nighttime zodiac sign, meaning that their ability to see through the darkness is heightened. And all their earlier souls, their daytime zodiac sign, meaning their ability to shine very brightly, is heightened. So Leo shines very brightly. Aquarius doesn't want the attention because Aquarius sees through you. That's the difference. Leo wants you to look at them, and Aquarius wants to see through you. So that's mainly the difference. So Aquarius moon does see through all their relatives and the fake energy that family brings, and they just decide to separate themselves because they don't thrive in negativity. Aquarius as a zodiac sign, they don't thrive in toxicity. So if the environment is not conducive to peace and getting along, and because Aquarius is a sign of brotherhood, like getting along, brotherhood. We get along, we eat together, we take care of each other, we look out for each other. So when families are not actually looking out for Aquarius and not taking care of, not being there for Aquarius, Aquarius registers that message that they're not loved. So they separate themselves and they move away and they never look back. Now, back to the Virgo sun comment that I was making. Virgo sun generally have to deal with having too much responsibility put on them at a young age. So in your case, because Virgo rules the sixth house, which is the house of spiritual debts. That's why Virgo has to work so hard to get their lives together. So in addition to being gaslit into being gaslit into the fact that these people didn't love you and they didn't really go out of their way to make you feel loved, they also want you to they also want to burden you with their responsibilities, which is kind of like you're being attacked on both fronts. So on one hand, Virgo sun usually means that the family is going to burden you with their responsibilities, and it's usually responsibility around health. Usually Virgo sun children are born to parents or family system where health is a theme, because Virgo rules health and wellness in astrology. So generally they're going to have a parent that is sick, or a parent that ends up having a disease at a very young age. There's a theme around like sickness, disease, work, or a parent that's not able to keep employment. There's some themes around that, like basically not being able to care for oneself, a parent not being able to care for oneself in that regard. So Virgo sun, Aquarius moon is someone that didn't taste love as a child. They tasted responsibility. They tasted hard work. They tasted being lonely. They tasted being independent. They tasted how to be resilient. They tasted how to look out for themselves, how to be smart, how to make smart, stable decisions for their lives, how to figure out how to move away from the family and succeed on their own with no help. But love, no, they've never tasted that. They've never tasted unconditional love. They've never tasted unconditional support. They don't know what that is. Nobody's ever given it to them. Although, because of the Aquarius moon placement, the same people will gaslight them. If they were to bring this up, those same people would argue them to death that they were always there for Virgo sun, Aquarius moon, even though the very minimal things that they could do, they didn't do. You know, as a child, these Virgo sun, Aquarius moon children were often promised things that people didn't follow through on. I have a feeling that if you and I were in a session together, you could tell me loads of stories about that, about people telling you one thing, doing another, or trying to make you think things are one way, but it's really another way. Or like people like being all like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about how they're gonna do this, like selling you fantasies, and then in reality, none of it is happening. None of it is real. It's all a facade, and it's all like a game to them. So that's what I would say about Virgo Sun, Aquarius Moon. I have to say though, both of those signs tend to be very critical as well as zodiac signs because they're very smart, they're very cerebral. And that's the problem with being smart. Being smart, unfortunately, comes with depression because you know too much, because you think too much, and you're too aware. You know, there is an element of dreaminess. Like, you know, people who are not as intellectually sharp can afford to be dreamy. They can afford to miss things. They don't catch all the things. They don't register all the things. So it's not, you know, they don't receive as much information because they're not predisposed to receive information. They're not curious enough. They're not even curious about what they don't know. So it's easy for them to be in a land, in a delusional land where they can believe the, you know, whatever they're being fed. You know, they drink the Kool-Aid, no problem. But Virgo and Aquarius are so intellectually sharp that these are critical thinkers. These are people that love to dig in and analyze the details of the facts. These are people that like to know the truth. They want to get to the root of the problem. So having that at the sun and at the moon is going to bring about a very critical personality. Somebody that thinks very critically about things. Somebody that has an easy time figuring out the problem in a chain of events. Like if you give them a sequence of events, they can tell you where the chain blocks breaks. Exactly. And sometimes Virgo Sun, because of their inability to, when they're unevolved, to communicate the information in a compassionate way, they're not very well received. They're received as somebody that's like trying to put other people down, somebody that thinks they're better than other people, somebody that's just trying to make other people feel bad, when I know as an astrologer that that's never what Virgo's intent is. But because Virgo is exalted in Mercury, when Virgo's now working their energy in the positive, when they communicate, you know, the thing about our spiritual gifts is that they're sliced both ways, meaning if you're exalted at Mercury, it means you have a special gift of communication. It means God has given you special powers of communication where when you speak, people hear you loud and clear, and you're able to take very complex processes and simplify them with words in the way that anybody can get it. You know, like that expression, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Virgo is very good at explaining everything to you like you're a 5-year-old. But the flip side is when Virgo's unevolved, they don't understand that their power is in their throat chakra, is in their communication. So they can use that same tool to beat you down like you're a 5-year-old, even when you're a 50-year-old. Because if you're not making sense to a Virgo, then they get frustrated. It's not that they're being mean, they get frustrated. Because they're like, what's not clicking, Steven? You know that sound on TikTok, what's not clicking, Steven? Yeah, it's Virgo. Like, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the fastest planet in our solar system. So they think very fast. They connect dots very fast and they get to conclusions very fast. So when they're trying to communicate something to you, they think that you can receive it just as quickly as they can process it. So when you're not receiving it and you're not getting that 1 + 1 = 2, and they have to spell it out further, when they feel like they've already spelled it out like you're a 5-year-old, they get frustrated. And this is where the meanness comes in. This is why generally when Virgo is in relationship with Aquarius, it's a mean relationship. I don't like these two together because all they're going to do is nitpick each other to death. Just argue, complain, argue, complain. Like, it's not a good vibe at all. So just be on the lookout for that, like the incessant focus on the negativity, on what's wrong, because Aquarius is actually a positive zodiac sign, but Virgo is a negative zodiac sign. Lucky for you, you have Leo rising. Leo rising is also a positive zodiac sign. So there's a lot of energy that you get from the light. People tend to see you in a very favorable position. People find you very attractive. That also helps. So they give you a little bit more grace, you know, when you're not able to come across the way that you want to be, which is something all Virgos struggle with because, you know, exaltation means you have to work harder to master your gift, you know. So Leo rising is friendly, they're outgoing, they take space even when they don't want to. People see them as a leader even when they're not trying to be. And I'm sure you had that in your family too, because there's a lot of pride that comes with Leo rising. So when you happen to be very proudful and you also got the smarts to back it up, people don't like it. People don't like it. People don't like it when you're proud and you're smart. They don't like it. They like it when you're proud and you don't have anything to back it up. Then they can feel vindicated in like putting you down, and they can feel vindicated in like diminishing you. Like, oh, she thinks she's all that, but she's nothing. But when you actually are smart and you're actually proud, meaning you're confident, you know what you want, you go for what you want, you have the facts to back it up, you've got the drive to back it up, they don't like it. So sometimes people will pick fights with you just to humble you. I just need you to know that. I just need you to know that because your energy is intimidating, especially female. You know, we allow men to get away with this. Like, and men can be proud and smart and everybody. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it. Got it, sir. A woman will come along and say that same thing that man said, same exact way. Hi, Loretta, Washington. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem because who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? To be beautiful? To be smart, for people to love you, to know what you're doing, to be clean, to be organized, to be productive, to be about your business, and you want to have boundaries on top of that? No. No, you're not everybody's cup of tea, lovely Reek. And I have a feeling that you've struggled with relationships your whole life because of this. Because the other thing with having Leo with the sun is that it makes you very dominant in relationships. So Leo doesn't really want to be dominant. It's just who they are. Whatever space Leo holds, they're going to envelop it. Like, think about the sun. Do you see how bright the sun is? And we can't get close to it without burning ourselves. And do you see how brightly it shines? It exposes everything. So when you come in the room, you expose everybody's insecurities. And then you open your mouth and you make sense. Oh my God. And then you look good too. Yeah, as a woman, there's so many things that you can't be all at once. Smart, beautiful, competent, and with good boundaries. If you're a woman who has all these things, the world is going to hate you. You should just know that. That's just a part of the game, and you should embrace it. Don't run away from it. Let it be what it is. But I just need you to know that's going to make your relationships challenging, both with women and with men, because men have also been socialized to be in a relationship with women for the sake of dominating them. You're not dominating a Leo rising. I'm sorry. You're going to have to find a more feminine zodiac sign for that. Masculine zodiac sign at the rising, you can't dominate those women. No, it's not going to happen. They're not going to take it. If they're in a relationship with you, they're running it. Okay? And if you cannot get in line and play your part, it's going to be a problem. Now, Leo is very traditional. So they're not like trying to humiliate you in public. I don't mean that kind of running it. I mean that you need to know your place in the relationship. Because an Aquarius moon and a Virgo sun is going to be smarter than you, sir. I don't know what you have going on, but the likelihood that you're going to be smarter than that placement, very slim. So she's going to have better ideas. She's going to be more intelligent. She's going to be more resourceful. And she's going to be able to see through things that you can't see. So knowing your place would be being a confident masculine who can assess the skill set of this woman and then figure out how to utilize them for the benefit of the companionship. But many men are not comfortable enough in their masculinity to be able to really help a woman, like spread her wings and allow her power to take space. Because that's the other thing with you with this placement. Aquarius and Leo are both masculine. Virgo is the only feminine one. So you have 2 masculine energies out of 3. So in relationship with guys, there's going to be tension if he's not comfortable in his masculinity because he's going to start competing with you. And that's the other thing with Virgo women when they fall in love. They tend to be very generous, very helpful, very much so let me fix your life, very much so let's build a bear, Very much so, like, I know you're not where you want to be, but I can work with you to get to your full potential. Virgo women, especially at the Venus, rising, sun, moon, they're very generous because Virgo is a service-oriented zodiac sign. Virgo comes into partnership to serve, okay? So when you come into those relationships, you're coming in with all your gifts. You're giving, like, these guys everything that you've got. So just be mindful of that in relationships. You need to hold some of it back, especially with you having Aquarius at the moon, because Aquarius is extremely generous. Aquarius will give you the shirt off their back. Like, most zodiac signs like to say they're generous, but Virgo and Aquarius does not get more generous because one is a service worker, so naturally they're here to serve. So if you got yourself a Virgo, they're servicing you, period. I don't care who they are. I don't care what life they've lived. A Virgo's always going to be thinking about how to make your life better. If you've got yourself an Aquarius, they're just pouring into you, constantly pouring into you. So be mindful of users, okay? Because you also have Leo at the rising, which makes you very attractive, very bright, like a shiny new object. Be mindful of people that are going to be attracted to your light just because of your light. Like, they want to be associated with you so they can get from you, but they're pouring back into you. Do not. Relationships require reciprocity. If you're with somebody that is not pouring back into you, then they've got to go. The last thing that you mentioned regarding your placement, which is Gemini Mars. Gemini Mars is somebody that is very serious about being cutthroat when it comes to getting things done. Like a Gemini Mars, when they're in their right energy, once they come up with a plan given to them by Virgo, especially you having Virgo and Gemini in your big six, you have both. You're like the master of communication, okay? Master of communication. So once Gemini Mars has figured out what they're going to do and how they're going to execute, there's no stopping them. The problem with Gemini Mars is when they're not focused. A Gemini Mars that's not about their business, that doesn't know what they want out of life, that isn't working on anything specific about their life. A Gemini Mars that is not, doesn't have any goals, drives, purpose, doesn't know what's going on, wasting their time in gossip and useless childish activities that do not make money. Yeah, when we get into that zone, Gemini Mars is actually the worst placement you can have because that placement is naturally childish, right? And then when you add to that this excessive need to talk and oftentimes talk about things that are useless, it just creates an energy of somebody that may desire to accomplish great things with their life, but has zero follow through, and who's constantly wasting their energy in social activities that do not benefit them. Because they're more concerned with being liked and being seen and being entertained than they are with actually like putting pen to paper and getting focus on themselves and working hard for the things that they want. So just keep that in mind, you know. Also in relationship, Gemini Mars tend to struggle with monogamy in general because monogamy requires that they let go of every other option that's out there. And it doesn't mean that they're not capable of monogamy. It's that there's a certain restlessness to them in general in relationship, the same restlessness that Virgo experiences. But the difference is because Virgo is an earth sign, Virgo's going to do what society deems acceptable at the end of the day. Virgo's going to do what society deems, you know, natural and, you know, pleasant and ideal. Because remember, Virgo does struggle with perfectionism because they want to be accepted by the populace. But Gemini does not struggle at all with self-acceptance or with anything that people think. Like, Gemini doesn't care what you think. They know what they want. They know what they want to do. They're in their zone and they stay true to their zone. So just be mindful of the restlessness when you get in relationships, okay? Anybody that has both Virgo and Gemini in their big six is going to struggle in relationships because mutable zodiac signs in general don't do well with monogamy, and that will be Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Generally, these four and monogamy do not agree. Generally, okay? The only two, I think when they get older, they get better at that. Like Pisces and Sagittarius are a little bit better at it than Gemini and Virgo because they're younger energetically. So just be mindful of this restless need to always be doing something, to always be chasing after something, and to always have excitement. You know, the goal for these two is to find excitement intellectually, not necessarily with their bodies. So that's really like the pitfall for these two. Just be mindful of that. The restlessness is normal. It's something all mutable zodiac signs deal with. But you're smart enough to be able to pick and choose which thoughts you want to entertain because they lead to a good quality of life for you, and which thoughts you can just have in your head and like have fun with over here, but you don't need to act them out over there, you know, because that could create, you know, issues for your quality of life. So because you came from a background where you didn't have a lot of love and support, you need to be very protective of the love and support that you create, the stability you create, especially having all this air energy. And since you're Virgo sun, which is earthy, you know, stability is very important to earth signs. And that's why Virgo really struggles, is because they are a mutable earth sign. So unlike the other two, Taurus and Capricorn, where doing the same thing every day comes naturally, for Virgo, doing the same thing every day literally like makes them feel like a fish out of water because they're earthy but mutable. So find creative ways to express your mutability, your restlessness without self-sabotage. That's basically where I would like to leave that. What do you think about the reading that I just gave regarding your personality? I'll wait to read what you say about that. And I will take one last question from you guys before I disconnect. Thank you, Loretta Washington, for liking the live. Thanks, guys, for liking the live. And I want to let you guys know that you can go to my links in bio to watch a lot of free content on YouTube. At Intuitive Healing, you can find Astrology 101 content. You can go to Styled Under Libra, where I do celebrity couple readings. I also do couple synastry readings in general, not just celebrities. So you can go and watch that. The last one that I did is on Jonathan Majors and Megan Good's marriage. I wanted to see the success rate of their relationship, and it's almost like an hour-long review, so it's fairly detailed. And I like to be very detailed so that you can watch these videos and learn about your own placement in your own relationship and improve the way that you do relationships. Loretta Washington said, I miss watching you. Thank you so much for saying that. And thanks for the follow, newbie. Lovely Reek said, thank you so much. Gave me some clarity in general. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for asking that question. So yeah, Styled Under Libra, link in bio to watch astrology and love videos. You can also go to Styled Under Virgo, where I talk a lot about holistic healing. I talk about medical astrology, energy healing via healing crystals, you know, rituals, things of that nature, you know, health and wellness conversations over there. So that's pretty much it. And if you're interested in your horoscope, every new moon and full moon transit, I do a horoscope reading for all zodiac signs. The next one we're having is the new moon in Aries, and I already have that one done. So you can go to the Aquarius podcast and listen to that on Spotify or YouTube. So this is what that looks like. This next one is going to be a big one for all of us, and I want all of you to capitalize on it. So go to YouTube, the Aquarius podcast. You can listen to that episode, or you can listen to it on Spotify. And this is something you can expect from me every new moon and every full moon, because I want you to be ready. I want you to know what's going on. And this one is really going to be a major one. It's going to break a lot of things in us that need to be broken. So I'm excited about it. There's always a little bit of nervousness, you know, during eclipse season, because we have to let go, and letting go is painful. But I try to focus on like the version of me that I will be once I've overcome this challenge right here. Once I've worked my way through this right here, what type of me am I going to be? Like, that's what keeps me going. So I don't get caught up in the details of what needs to break. because what I'm more focused on is what am I going to get from it once what needs to break has broken and I've evolved. Because this whole journey is about evolution. We're all here to evolve, to grow, to master ourselves, and to become agents of light. And we can only do that once we're willing to remove our shadows from our energy and cleanse that and make that cleaner and bring more light within. It's only in cleaning out our shadows that we become more bright. So my focus is on what's at the end of the road once I've eliminated the shadows, not so much what do I have to do for the shadows to be handled. You know, I do what I need to do because self-development is the most important thing to me as an Aquarius rising. Aquarius is very preoccupied with being the very best version of themselves. So that's my attitude about those things. All right, guys. So one more astrology question. I'll take one more. Who's the brave soul who wants to get that going for us? Hi, Sassy Pants. Thank you for being here. Hi, Pearl Pearl. Thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate it. I'm going to look back to see if I missed any questions. Let's see. Oh, Lovely Riggs, you added that you're with a Pisces moon. He's very generous. Bingo. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Pisces is very generous when they're healthy. So you're in good hands. You finally get to know what love is, and I love that for you because Pisces is exalted at Venus, which is the planet of love. So look at God. You went through all that to come right back here. You know, we all get what we deserve in the end. I firmly believe that. All right, who has the next astrology question? Hi, Shorty. Thank you for being here. And thanks to you guys for tapping on the screen. It looks like we have 6,000 likes. Thank you. If you wouldn't mind continuing that, keeping that going. And don't be shy. You can go ahead and ask your question. We have 15 more minutes, so I will wait for you to ask me something. I'm currently working on the video about what it's like to have Saturn in your 6th house. The 6th house in astrology is about your health and wellness, and you can go watch that video on Styled Under Virgo on YouTube. Link in bio or description box to see that, to watch that video. I should have that up tonight. But I basically am trying to do what I can to get the word out there about how astrology can help us with managing our health and wellness. And depending on what planets you have in your 6th house, which is your house of health, there are certain things that you can do that can help you achieve optimal health, and certain things that will hinder your process. Oh, Waterwind. Hi, how's it going? I've missed you. Thank you so much for the heart me. I appreciate it. So yeah, depending on what planet you have in your 6th house, some of them are going to hinder your attempts to develop a healthy routine with your life, and some of them are going to enhance them. So, you know, I'm trying to bring the conversation of astrology to health with that. So if you happen to have Capricorn or Aquarius in your 6th house, you can go and watch that video later tonight or tomorrow morning, okay? Quantum Blackness 2.0 said, I thought I was a Gemini rising. Turns out I'm a Sag rising and Libra moon. Now, Quantum Blackness, is this like a tropical or is this Vedic astrology? And the grossed out emoji of Libra moon, I don't know how to feel about that. I actually like Libra moon, whole sign. Oh, I see. So Quantum Blackness 2.0, I have to ask you, which one do you relate to the most? Knowing what you know about Gemini rising and Sagittarius rising, which one do you think encapsulates like what you believe that you are the most? Oh, Waterwind, thank you for reaching member LV26. Thank you so much. Thank you for loving the TikTok live. You were devastated. Oh my God. Why devastated? That's a bit like intense. What's wrong with Sag rising? Why is that devastating for you? Maybe that's what I need to ask. Why were you devastated to go from Gemini to Sagittarius? These two are sisters. They're basically the same thing in two packages. It's different packaging, but the energy is more or less the same. One is an older package and one is a younger package. You're really optimistic. Well, both Gemini and Sagittarius are very optimistic. Well, let me ask this. Are you very spiritual? Because I talk smack on Sag and Libra. See, this is what you get. Every time I talk smack, the universe like humbles me majorly. It's like, oh, you think you're better than that? Let me show you. And then I'm like, let me get myself together. Because I do not want these types of vibes. Yeah, smack talking has gotten me in trouble so much. So, yeah. It's always the stuff that you talk smack about that ends up biting you. It's like, that's why, you know that song, Never Say Never? Yeah, never say never. I never say never anymore because the way the universe be like spinning that thing around, and I'm Capricorn ruled, like Saturn ruled, so I should know better anyways. Because Saturn does not play these types of games. You know, Mercury plays those games. Saturn, not so much. So yeah, there's a lesson in that for all of us who are willing to listen. You're semi-spiritual and Mercury and Sun in Capricorn. Okay, very nice. So did your Mercury and Sun placement stay the same when you switched rising, or did they also change? Now I'm very invested in this story. Sagittarius rising generally is either going to be an atheist or they're going to be very spiritual, borderline religious. Because for Sagittarius rising, the challenge is to learn how to navigate religion without bigotry. And it's not that Sagittarius is a bigot. It's that they can become so captivated by systems, you know, because they are an older zodiac sign. They do like things to be a certain way. They can become so captivated by the structure that religion provides that they can lose sight of the fact that spirituality existed prior to religion. So for Sagittarius rising, generally the relationship around spirituality and faith is very dominant. It's very strong. It's not like a I could take it or leave it. It's like it's all BS, which means I'm atheist or I'm agnostic. I'm not sure what it is, which is basically what that is. Like, whatever. I don't know. So I'm not taking a part. Or they can be very like super religious, like into like religious practices and all of that. Quantum Blackness 2.0 added, no, I assumed I was a Gemini rising, but when I did the chart, I found out the truth. I see. Okay. I'm glad that you did that. This is why I love the idea of doing readings, because I think you get so much more when you're actually having a conversation about your chart. You know, you get so much more details. And as somebody who does this professionally, I have to say your astrology natal chart is actually quite repetitive in a lot of cases. You know, the messages from the universe in terms of what you're here to work on, it's not just given to you one way. You know, it's given to you multiple ways at multiple vantage points. So there's certain themes that are going to show up in your chart that will get repeated throughout your entire chart. And that is in part why I like to do readings so much, is because I get to learn patterns, because everyone's chart has patterns. And the key is for you to learn your pattern. And once you have that unlocked, you can use that key to unlock every other door, because the universe works with patterns. The language of the universe is patterns, okay? Think about it. Like when you think about the solar system and the planets orbiting, they orbit with a specific pattern. Scientists have studied them that can tell you exactly how many kilometers, how many meters, how much time it takes for a specific planet to orbit. Scientists have it down to the specific number. But hey, mind you, before science could do that, it was still orchestrating itself in that pattern. And, much like a clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the astrology wheel is the same way. It's literally a pattern, a sequence of events. Let me go ahead and charge this. It's a sequence of events that you can basically chart because after a while, it becomes very predictable. The routine of it all becomes very predictable. And I find myself like saying the same thing multiple times. Not that I mind, because I think repetition is important because it's easy to forget. And in doing so, it's like I feel the generosity of the universe, of God, whatever you want to believe in, because God doesn't just like throw you out there with no direction, no guidance, no nothing. You get told what you need to learn multiple ways. And it's up to you to either hear it, take it, and then move forward with it, or ignore it. But those patterns never fail. Even like your Saturn return. People always talk about their Saturn return. Saturn returns happen around the same time of your life. Everybody has their first Saturn return around age 30. In that gap of your life, yeah, in the last 27, 28, 29, 30, 27, 28, 29, 30, like in that part of your life, if you were to replay those tapes of what happened to your life around that time, close to age 30, something broke. Something broke. Something that you held in high esteem, something that you believed in 100%, something that you were fighting for, something broke. Because Saturn teaches you about the value of things. Like, is this really valuable? Is this really who you are? Is this really what you want to do? Is this really what you believe in? Saturn is all about personal responsibility and accountability. So there's a lot of like, let's drill through all of the BS. Let's eliminate all of the facades. Let's get to the root of the issue. And is this still true once we eliminate all of that? So again, Saturn returns keep happening for all of us around a specific cycle. That's just the first one. We have to go through many of them. And that's really how I conceptualize astrology. It's understanding the pattern of your life. And once you get the pattern of your life, you can make decisions in harmony with when is a favorable time and when it's not a favorable time to do certain things. You can understand the rhythm of your personal life a little bit better, so you're not making moves at the wrong time, because it's not just about the thing. Like, as an example, getting married is a wonderful thing that many people want to experience. But getting married before age 30, when you're Saturn dominant, absolutely means that you're going to end up getting a divorce, or you're going to be in a miserable marriage until you die, because Saturn ruled people, everything good for them comes later, because Saturn is the slowest moving planet in our solar system. It's very slow. It's icy. Capricorn is not fast paced. Capricorn is the antithesis of Aries. Aries is bright and bushy tailed. They're trying to go fast. Capricorn is the oldest version of Aries. They get punished for going fast. So Capricorn dominant people, Sun, Moon, Rising, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, get married before age 30. Yeah, it's not going to work, because timing is more important than the thing. That's where the astrology wheel comes in. That's where the astrology wheel comes in. That's where the clock of the universe comes in, because when you do things at the wrong time, you will not get the reward that you thought you were going to get. Dominique said, you are correct. 30 was it for me. Yes. Most people read at 30, something broke. Something major broke. For me, it was getting divorced. So this is a pattern that all of us have to go through so we can get cleaner energetically in terms of like owning our truths. and being our authentic selves, because that's the only vibration that the universe responds to is authenticity. Being your realest, most authentic version of who you are.
You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo for all of your astrology content. Thanks so much for watching.